All right, y'all. It is Bree with the T. Back with another episode of Being Authentically You podcast. Okay, for my people on YouTube that are just now tuning in, I could not stream live. My computer is like not trying to do what it does. It must be that Mercury retrograde. Gotta be that Mercury retrograde, y'all. I'm just saying. Um, it's something else. As I'm trying to record this, um, there's that background noise too, so sorry. um, but I hope y'all are having a lovely day, a lovely night, a lovely evening. I am back on the podcast. This is episode number 3. I think I said episode number 3 last time, but this is the real episode number 3. All things that matter. In this podcast, we are going to be talking today about the biggest question, right, in life. What happens to energy after we have crossed over to the next life? Like, what happens to our energy? If you believe in reincarnation and the newness of the soul, then you will feel at home. Honestly, that is the description of this week's episode I just read. But this episode is really about energy, right? What happens to our energy, when we're done and gone off of the earth. Y'all could take it or y'all could leave it. This is only the advice I'm giving, right? You ain't gotta believe in everything I'm telling you, but just know that it's there, right? Just in case you want to believe in it. I'm just telling you for the people in the back. So yeah, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. What does that mean? Well, it means that you cannot destroy energy once it's created, right? So we are all beings of the light, some of us, but our energy we give off, right? We either receive or we give energy, right? Or get energy. Um, So when we're saying it can't be destroyed, well, when you die, where does that energy go? Some believe the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, right? Or, there's no more life in the body. So where does that energy go? Well, it goes to another realm, AKA the spiritual realm. You got the physical realm, which we're all on. I can physically see you. You can physically see me. Therefore, we're in the physical realm, right? In the spiritual realm, you can't see the spiritual realm with your naked eye. That's why they always ask you, open up your third eye, your third eye. Your third eye is meant for intuition and to see, literally to see into another dimension, which is the spiritual dimension. So every time, you pray or whatever, you're opening up your third eye. So if you pray into any God that you believe in, you're opening up that portal into the spiritual realm. So that's why they tell you, a lot of people will tell you, spiritual healers will tell you, hey, don't open up portals that you don't know that you opening up, right? They tell you, you should only worship what you believe in, because if you worship something else, then you liable to open up a portal and you done called in a spirit that you don't even know who that is. Okay. So that's why we have to be very careful in what we believe, what we're worshiping, because you're going to call in something that you don't know what it is. And that's where things get really weird. So the third eye is the opener. It's the see all, right? That's your intuition. That's your inner knowing. Sometimes it's called the inner knowing. But your third eye is very powerful because it makes you see things, right? In the spiritual realm that you can't see with your physical eye, right? Nobody ever has seen God, right? Maybe if we even see God, we might all explode because they're so me saying there, because I think God is everything, they're so, not to say perfect, but perfect. You can't see God, because if you do, you might just explode. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we can't physically see with our own eyes. That's why they tell you to be still and know that I am God. That's one of the scriptures, right? Be still and know that I am God. Well, why do we have to be still and know? It says and know, right? Because we have to be still, very quiet, so we can hear. But then we have this inner knowing, right? The inner knowing is your spirit. So therefore, the only way you can contact, God, you can contact God any way you want to, but the real way, the only way, is through the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm, because God is not physically here walking around, right? Can't see God, in other words. I can't just go to God's house. That's what I'm saying. Physically. Spiritually, you can. You can enter into your God's sanctuary anywhere spiritually. But physically, you cannot enter into God physically, like your whole being inside of God, on the earth. That can't be done by no man here, right? So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about that inner knowing, yes. And hold on, guys, I'm trying to do something with my computer. That inner knowing and energy being not destroyed, right? Not created nor destroyed. Energy can be transmuted though, right? So I can give you some energy, and you can give me some energy, and I could turn it into something else, and you could turn your energy into something else. Example, if you give off positive light and you're giving me words of affirmations and I'm giving you negativity, right? Well, the positive affirmations that you're giving me could outweigh the negative, and I could turn that into positive, right? Same way with negative. So it's really important to know the company that you keep, because if you keep the same company, you'll be the same person as the company that you keep, if that makes sense. Rewind. If you keep the same company, sorry, y'all. If you keep the same company, that you should be keeping the same company, right? Because if you keep different company, you will be just like the company that you keep. Winners can only surround themselves with winners. You don't see any millionaires hanging out with homeless people, right? Millionaires surround themselves with other millionaires. Why? Because, the like attracts the like. The light attracts the light. Not saying everybody that's homeless in darkness, not saying everybody that's millionaire is a light, a being of light. I'm just saying your beliefs, your faith, your everything, right, aligns with a cohort of people. Therefore, if you're around the cohort of people that are the same as you, or even on a higher level, then you have nothing to do but elevate. If you surround yourself with people that are on lower frequency levels, then of course you're going to go back down to a lower frequency level. That's just the law of the universe, right? So reincarnation. Y'all, I don't know why I'm doing this podcast, and we are in the shadow period of a Mercury retrograde. So please forgive me if you see if I have technical difficulties during this podcast. It is because of the Mercury retrograde. Blame it on that. But reincarnation, what is the basis of reincarnation? So reincarnation is really coming back to this earth, because the last time you came back to the earth, you didn't facilitate your lifelong purpose on the earth, right? So get this, every time God came back to the earth, in every parable, in every scenario, God came back to the earth as a baby, right? Be it Jesus, be it Buddha, they were all babies, right? So The only thing on the earth that's aging is you, my dear. You're the only one getting old because babies are born each day, each second, each nanosecond, right? So we're getting older and older. The babies are getting younger and younger, if that makes any sense. If you confused and rewinded. But reincarnation is basically because your soul did not fulfill its purpose when you left the earth the first time, and the first time, and the first time after that. Some people are walking around here with some old souls. They've been here for thousands of years, right? But they had to come back because their soul didn't fulfill a purpose, its ultimate purpose, right? So you might have been on the, sorry y'all, I'm trying to get my voice thing back on my phone. You probably have been on the earth for say 400 years, but every time you died and came back as a baby, you started that life cycle over again. You can't remember what happened, but there are some things in your daily living that you may find, weird, like how do you always know how to solve a puzzle, or how are you so good in math, or how are you really good with your hands? Well, it all came back from the first time you were here, right? So you may have been reincarnated into a Black family, but you grew up in a white family the first time you were here on the earth, right? So reincarnation is basically a soul thing, right? So your soul had a job, but it didn't fulfill its job. Therefore, you back again to fulfill the soul, your ultimate soul purpose. Now, are you going to get it right this time? Well, we don't know. We don't know if you're going to get it right this time. You might get it right this time. You might not. If you don't get it, your soul purpose right this time, well, you might die and come back to earth again and sign a contract to come back until you elevate into the, well, it's enlightenment, but it's higher than enlightenment phase. So until you elevate higher than enlightenment, then you could stay in the heavens with an S, right? But reincarnation is basically a soul thing where your soul didn't fulfill its purpose when you came back to the earth the first time around, or the second time around, or the 40th time around, or the 400th time around, right? So that was the answer to question number one. What is the basis of reincarnation? Your soul. Karma. The next question. What goes around comes around. Do unto others as you wish to be done unto you. Yes, karma is the saying, what goes around comes around. Do unto others as you wish to be done to you, but it's a little bit deeper than that. Because you have karmic partners, you have karmic ties, you have karma everywhere. So say if you came back to earth and you were married to this other guy, but you didn't know you were married until you had a dream, and then the guy came back to earth and you came back to earth at the same kind of around the same time. The guy's older but you're younger, right? Or it could be a girl, whatever. But then you meet him again, but you feel like you've known him forever, but y'all fight every day. Y'all ain't in a relationship no more, but you fight every day of every second of every minute. And that person, you love that person so dearly, but they really get under your skin. And you left them, but you still feel like you got a tie to them. You still feel like they're around in your space. Well, that is called your karmic partner. Everybody has at least two or three. It could be platonic, which is not romantic, or it could be your mama, your daddy, your sister, brother. But sometimes, generally, these karmic partners are romantic, right? So you had a karmic partner. They came back to earth to show you things, right? You came back to earth to, either untie with a karmic partner, or you could be with that karmic partner for the rest of your life. It just depends on your scenario. But karma is very much a soul contract too. So before you came to earth, you signed some contracts. I always laugh at this because every time I'm reading this, I'm like, I signed a contract? I don't remember signing no contract now. Now, where I signed this contract saying that I'm going to come back to this earth? where in the world did I do that? When did I do that? But you signed a soul contract saying that you would come back to the earth the for any reason really, but only you know why you're here, why your purpose is here, your soul purpose, right? Some people don't know their soul purpose and they just wander. However, a lot of us, do have an idea of what our purpose is in this lifetime, but many of us do not, and we just wander, right? So karma could be you coming back to earth to learn a life lesson or to learn lessons along the way to elevate your soul, right? So you signed a contract to come back to earth to help the humanity here. If that could have been your purpose, or it could have been, helping people, but you sign a contract to move forward with your soul, right? Your elevation of your spiritual walk. So it's a little bit deeper than what goes around comes around, because yes, karma is what you say to others could be done to you. But also, if you could just think of that one person that you love them dearly, but y'all always are arguing or fighting or upset with one another, or they really get under your skin and they really trigger you to the point where you just off, you like setting it off like fire every time around them. Well, that's your karmic partner, meaning that's the other side of you, right? Not saying you're 100% light and they're 100% evil, but that's your yin to your yang, right? So you're probably yang and then they're probably yin, right? So that is the yin to your yang, right? So the karmic person is just a reflection of who you really are, well, who you were, right? So even though that they are, bringing up all your flaws in front of your face, they're actually a mirror of you, right? So maybe your karmic partner has addictions, right? Then like maybe they have an addiction and you figure out that, what, you haven't healed from your addictions, or, maybe they, have things going on in their life where they don't feel loved. Well, then you don't feel loved. And, so you mirror each other. And the reason why you mirror each other is so that you could see who you are and where you could work out the things in your in your life. Quick story about my karmic partner. I know exactly who is my karmic partner. Let's just get that straight. I know who my karmic partner is. But when I was going through the whole karmic partner thing, I would get so angry, like, why in the world is this person being like me? And I actually thought about that. I was like, why is this person being like me, like how I was? And like, why is this person like this? And then I really had to look at myself and be like, oh my gosh, that is me. Like, this person is going through traumatic experiences that, they were just triggering me all the way around the board. It's like, even them saying something about, my past triggered me. Like they would bring that up a lot, and they would question me a lot about my past. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why are you going down that road? But the reason why they kept bringing up my past and wanted me to say things about my past is because I really wasn't healed from my past. So it was just like trigger after trigger after trigger after trigger. And then not until like maybe 3-4 months into the whole relationship thing, I was like, you know what? Why is this person like me? Why do they do these things? And why are they trying to, get me out of my element? And when I really looked it up and I really looked at the meaning of karmic or karma or karmic partner, it really rang a bell. Like, wow, this person is in my life to show me that I'm not healed all the way. Like I got work to do in this area. Cause really I thought I buried all of the stuff that, traumatized me, but really it was just buried. It wasn't resolved. So I appreciate it to this day. Like, yeah, me and my karmic partner. But it's a lot of issues that came up in that whole ordeal with karmic. So if you do have a karmic partner, then, just really look at them and look at the ways and the behaviors that they implement, because that is you, right? And then see, where in the world you are inwardly. So basically, if you had any childhood trauma, if they're bringing up that childhood trauma, not like talking to you about it, but just to say like, hey, this happened to me in my childhood. If the same thing happened to them in their childhood, and you're figuring that out, like and the same thing happened to you in your childhood, and you feel triggered by any type of messages that they're throwing to you, like on a daily basis, then that is your karmic partner. And they're there for a reason, a huge reason. They're there for you to overcome that karmic, that karmic aspect of your life. And handling karma is hard. It's not an easy thing. Because it's an addictive behavior and it's addictive relationship. So if you do have if you're addicted to someone, like it doesn't matter how much they have hurt you, you keep going back to that someone, that is your karmic partner. Again, I'm gonna say it loud for the people in the back. If this person has hurt you to the brinks of the depths of your soul, and you keep going back to that person, well, that is your karmic partner. Or you keep going back to that thing, that person. It doesn't have to be a relationship, but usually it is. Like if you keep going back to that hurt place with that person and you keep doing it over and over again, that is a karmic cycle. Therefore, that is a karmic person. Not all karmic people are bad. You guys signed a contract to come back to earth. That person signed a contract to hurt you, and you signed a contract to be hurt by that person, to learn your lesson. Right? That is the ultimate reason why you have karma and karmic partners. It's because they signed something in the heavens when y'all were in the heavens debating about who coming back to earth and who gonna play their part in their role. Well, this person signed a contract to hurt you, and you signed a contract to be hurt and learn your lesson. Right? So it's very uncomfortable. I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable talking about it. Because my karmic partner is a karmic partner. Some people end up with their karmic partner. That's not to say that, they're evil people for ending up with your karmic partner. That's just saying that, hey, in this lifetime, you were meant to be with that person, not somebody that hurts you. Because sometimes those relationships, those karmic relationships, can elevate, right? So say if your karmic partner learned their lesson and they did their work and they healed from their trauma, and you learned your lesson and you did your work and you healed from your trauma, and you guys come back together, right? Say if y'all left each other for 8 years, then y'all come back together and you reunite, and it's like a beautiful experience. Well, then, that's elevation. You can be with your karmic partner if y'all both evolve. But say if you are if you are not, where you need to be spiritually, and your karmic partner just starting off, right? Then of course y'all can't be together because it's not a balance. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody that's just starting their spiritual journey, and you're already 8 years down the road, right? They don't know if they even want to step on the path. Then it's not balanced. And, unfortunately, you're going to have to leave your karmic partner. And honestly, that's what I had to do in my circumstance. I'm just speaking from experience. But my circumstance, I had to leave that person, not because I wanted to, but I figured out, hey, this person, is not ready to walk that spiritual journey with me. They're not ready. And I can't make nobody walk. I can't make nobody walk if they're stagnant. I can't force nobody to walk. Therefore, I have to walk away. Why? Because I have another journey that I got to be on, right? I have to really go through this journey. And if that person doesn't want to go through, or doesn't feel like they're ready to go through the journey with me, then I have to leave them. I have to walk away. That's okay, right? That's all right. That's okay if you have to leave that person, because you're walking a different way. You're walking on a different path. But who's to say that the karmic partner, right, won't elevate and meet you down the road somewhere, 8-10 years down the road. But yeah, karma is very deep. It's not just what goes around comes around, goes around, goes all the way back around. It's just not that. It's a little deeper than that. But yes, to answer your question, what goes around comes around. That is karma, but it's very deeper. It could be a karmic partner. It could be a karmic cycle that you have with a friend, a loved one. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a karmic partner that came to this earth to show you some lessons, and you came to this earth to, fulfill your destiny and to complete your lessons, right? So the next question, well, it's really not a question. It's like a fragment, I guess. Um, the heavens and the earth. There are multiple heavens, not just one, but a heaven for all. So, y'all, I ain't come on this podcast to preach. I didn't come on the podcast to preach to y'all today. I'm telling you because I ain't come to preach to you. But there are multiple heavens. There's not just one heaven, right? There's a heaven for the angels. There's a heaven for, the ancestors. There's a heaven. There's heavens. That's why it said God made heaven and earth and heavens. It's a lot of times in the scriptures that you guys are reading, it talks about heavens with an S. It's because there's multiple, right? So there's a waiting period to go into heaven. You don't just go straight there. You do have a lot of cycles that you have to go through. That's why they recommend you not contact people when they just passed away. Usually they will contact you, right, when they're ready, either through a dream or through a synopsis or a flash or a memory when they're ready to contact you. But the dead don't just contact you right away after they pass away. That's the mind playing, not playing tricks, but the mind. Usually people that pass away, they'll contact you within a year because they have a process that they have to go through. They don't just go straight to heaven now. Now, come on now. That's way too easy. Plus, it's just like, chaotic in heaven, just like it's chaotic in earth. And the reason being is because there's a lot of things happening up there, right? There's things happening up there. There's judgments being made. There's, processes that people have to go through when they die. They don't just die and go to heaven. They don't just die and go to hell, right? When they say hell is on earth, well, you create hell in your head. So if you feel like you're living in hell, that's because you created hell. And therefore, hell is what you're in. But if you feel joyful, if you feel happy, if you feel, exuberant, if you feel excited to be here on this planet Earth, then that means that you have created heaven on earth. But if you feel like every time you wake up, you feel defeated, you feel, sad, you feel unwanted, you feel unloved, well, you're living in hell, right? So heaven and hell are in your head. It's in the mind. Because you could be going through some things that nobody knows, but you could be in heaven, right? Joyous, right? But then you could be in hell, right? If you feel defeated all the time, if you feel unworthy, if you're in a depression state of mind, then that's hell. And that's all in your head. That's why they say protect your head, because your head knows all and your head guides all. Therefore, protecting of the head, right? Because you can create, you can create your own heaven or your own hell based on the way you think. That's why it's very important to know thoughts and know your thoughts and weigh your thoughts. Journaling is very important because it shows you a structure of your thoughts. Recently, I have been trying to get back into journaling, I'm doing it. But, journaling your thoughts helps you see where you are going with your mental state and your spiritual state, even down to the way you're writing on the piece of paper. So is it scribble? Are you writing in scribbling, right? Or are you writing structured letters and you're making out each letter? If you're writing really fast, well, that just means you're very anxious, right? If you're writing really slow, that means that you're taking the time to accentuate and punctuate all of your letters. But if you find yourself writing so fast that you can't make out what you wrote, well, you're living in chaos. Okay. So it's very important to even look at the handwriting when you're journaling. Not even just not even just what you're scribbling on the paper. The handwriting, right? So heaven can be in your head, hell can be in your head. It's just a decision that you consciously make. Are you going to decide to wake up in power today, or are you going to decide to wake up powerless today? It's all about you, right? So this has been another Briewiththetea podcast, y'all. Talking about energy and all things that matter. This has been a really fun podcast, really cool podcast. The next podcast is episode 4, which I will be talking about a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. A man that finds a wife finds a good thing. I like the way that sounds. A man that finds a wife finds a good thing. So that will be September 8th. I'll be talking about what that means. Like, what does it mean to find a wife? And why is it a good thing? So it's one of the famous scriptures that a lot of people look at in, biblical terms. Like, oh my gosh, a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. But a lot of people don't understand what that means. So I'm going to break it down in steps because y'all know me. If you need me, call me. No, but for real, if you need me for any type of spiritual guidance, you can always book me at oceanicbrie.com. That is Oceanic, OCEANIC, Brie, like the cheese, BRIE.com. Again, my Instagram is Briewiththetea_. Also Facebook, Oceanic Brie. And I don't think I got Snapchat. Do I got Snapchat? No, I ain't got no Snapchat for this. I ain't got no Twitter either. I just got Instagram, Facebook, and my website. Again, I will be traveling in and around Florida. My next traveling will be Largo, so that'll be sometime in November. But if y'all need me, y'all know where to find me at on Facebook and on Instagram. All right. Well, it has been really lovely. And thank y'all for coming on this podcast to listen to me talk. And I will see you back for episode 4, y'all.